Thank you all very much for joining us today. My name is Melissa McKenzie, and I'm with UK St. Clair as the Director of Professional Development. And I also serve as a project director on the Economic Development Administration's Recompete grant. Also joining me today is Matthew Porter, Outreach Services Coordinator for AHEC and Grants. Today's virtual event will be recorded. We will have 3 presenters today. If you have questions, we will have time for questions and answers at the end of the session. Please feel free to use the chat feature during the presentations to drop your questions, and we will be monitoring. Please remember to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Today's session is made possible through grant funding. We present this topic today as a way to recognize that substance abuse, unemployment, and lower socioeconomic factors form a depressing and vicious cycle. Individuals who misuse substances are more likely to lose jobs or leave the workforce, leading to a reduction in income and lifestyle. UK St. Clair has been proactively responding to this issue since 2022. Later in this session, you will hear more about our own journey. And now, I would like to introduce our first presenter. Joe Boggs was raised in Catlettsburg and now resides in Grayson, Kentucky with his wife and 9-year-old son. Joe has been in recovery for close to 2 years after 25 years in addiction. In 2022, UK St. Clair, Carter County Detention Center, Grayson Health Park, and Pathways Incorporated partnered on a HRSA Implementation 4 grant to expand their jail reentry program called First Day Forward to Carter County. First Day Forward begins with peer support specialists screening candidates before anticipated discharge for self-identified substance use disorder and willingness to participate. Before release, participants receive life skills education and assistance with obtaining essential documents like Social Security cards, birth certificates, and Medicaid applications. They also receive guidance on housing, employment, and treatment options. Following release, and to help individuals reintegrate successfully, a peer support specialist helps connect participants with community resources, treatment services, primary care, case management, as well as transportation to doctor's visits, AA and NA meetings, and other needed appointments. Peer support plays a vital role in helping individuals reintegrate successfully. For many, First Day Forward isn't just a program, it's a second chance at life. Joe successfully completed the First Day Forward program in December 2024. Please welcome Joe as he shares about his road to recovery and how employment has empowered him even further. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for the kind words there. Yeah, empowerment is a big word, and it's something that I didn't really understand when I was in addiction. How employment played a big role in life. Going through 25 years of addiction wasn't easy. It's something that I thought it was the only way I was going to live. I really did. I thought I was going to wake up in the morning and hunt dope and chase after things that were unimportant for the rest of my life. I spent a lot of time in jail. I'd never been to a rehab before. When I got out of jail this last time, I got sent to Genesis Recovery Kentucky Center, where I found out about myself mostly, and I found out that there was a way out of addiction and alcoholism. I've been working the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I picked up a sponsor and changed. I had to find out who I was first before I could change anything. And I really didn't know, because like it's been pointed out, 25 years of addiction, the only reason I had a job to begin with was to pay for drugs, to pay for alcohol, to pay for my next fix, whatever that was. It took a long time to realize there was a better life for me out there. It took even longer for me to realize that I was deserving of that. Alcoholics Anonymous showed me a lot. And being here at Genesis, which is where I'm at now, just so everybody knows, this is my second home. I love this place. It saved my life. It showed me a new way of life, and it showed me that people before me had accomplished something that I'd wanted my whole life, and it was to be a son, to be a father, to be a husband, and to be a friend. A relationship was something I couldn't even fathom before. My parents had taken away my keys to the house. Every employer I ever had before, I just utilized as a paycheck. And when I got my paycheck, I was gone, no matter how much it was. And then I would look for employment later because it really was of no importance other than monetary. Being at Genesis and working the 12-step program, uh, like I said, it showed me who I was. Picking up a sponsor that was real rude and crude, had to tell me who I was and what I was all about for real. And it started me being honest. I thought the best way I was ever going to live was to be able to get real high real easy. So when I came to Genesis, I got real high real easy for the first couple weeks. Some guys I knew from jail came here and decided to share their drugs with me, and I decided to take them up on that. When they showed up here at Genesis and had drugs, I said, yeah, give them to me because I've already convinced myself that I'm not alcoholic. So I don't really need to be here. That's self-manipulation at its finest. And whenever they gave me the dope, I hid it in my room and I walked past it a couple of days. Well, anybody that's ever done drugs to any extent knows how manipulation works. Now that I've walked past that dope a couple of days, now I'm not even a drug addict. So really, what do I need rehab for? Um, I didn't understand it. A guy came down the hallway and said he was going to flip the house over and look for all the drugs and inappropriate paraphernalia and things like that in the house. And I got a little scared and I went and got the dope out from behind the bed, ran to the bathroom with the full intention of dumping it out. But when I couldn't, when I looked at it and I seen it in my hand, it's my one true love. It's the thing I've lived for 25 years. It's the thing that um, kept me going in my mind, in my delusional mind. That was the only way I was going to live. Uh, so I did it. And later on that day, when they came around to do drug tests and they said, hey, are you going to pass this drug test? I said, absolutely not. And so I got honest. For the first time in my life, I got honest and told them what I did. Later on that day, a real important person in my life, Mitchell J, we'll call him, he had give his lead and he looked, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a sermon where a preacher's preaching right at you. I know we've all have, where you feel like they're just pointing you out and it's all about you. Well, Mitchell said, it's not drugs and alcohol you're powerless over, Joe. It's your thoughts. And it was like a 2x4 hit me in the face because I could sit and think about every one of those memories and every one of those bad decisions. I couldn't blame on anybody else now because I know I made those decisions and I put myself in those positions. So I had to start being real honest with myself. And I bit off into this AA thing and it really helped me out. While here at Genesis and learning about myself and just sitting on my hands and letting things go the way God wanted them to go, things got real good. I haven't been hungry in 2 years. And I don't know for anybody that's ever been in addiction, man, that's powerful. I haven't had to look for a meal. I've had the same cell phone number for 2 years, and that is crazy. I have anybody that's ever been in addiction knows cell phone's first thing to go. That phone number gets changed all the time. Well, I'm real grateful I haven't had to change my phone number since I got my last phone. I'm real grateful that I haven't been hungry. I'm real grateful that I've built up a fellowship around me of guys that hold me accountable whenever I start stepping to the left and I ought to go right. I met a couple guys that were part of the First Day Forward program, and they told me a little bit about it. And whenever I decided to get employed, when I went through this program here at Genesis, I went into what they call the peer mentors office. That's where we get to stick around. We get to stay living here. They still feed us 3 times, 4 times a day if we want. And we just teach the new guys. Well, giving back is a big part of my life now. And it's because I sat through a lot of classes, I could help facilitate those same classes and maybe tell some new guys the way I came to understand that I could change. Um, some of the guys that went through this program were heavily involved in First Day Forward, and they pointed out, hey man, if you're going to get a job, if you're going to get a home on your own, give us a call. Maybe we can help you out. So I sat down with a couple of those guys. One of those guys in particular, Jackie Willis, he won't mind for me saying his name. He's a wonderful guy who went through this program too, and he went through it a little bit before me. So he's one of the guys I looked up to as I was going through this program because I knew Jackie in addiction and I also knew him here at Genesis. And if he can do it, I can do it. And I had that state of mind for a while. When I went to Jackie and said, "Hey man, I'm gonna start this job at KFC, but I don't have clothes to wear," I don't have shoes. I don't have anything. He helped me fill out the paperwork for First Day Forward and took me to buy new clothes. Man, that was powerful. Nobody ever helped me in that way. So I applaud the First Day Forward program for being able to help me. My wife was in prison while I was here. She got out of jail, and they helped her find a place to live. She'd been in addiction about as long as I had, and we both decided we wanted something new. Many people told me I couldn't do it. She couldn't do it, but the people closest to me said they would help me do it. It was real powerful to me. So First Day Forward helped me to get this job at KFC. They helped me to get some clothes to wear at KFC, and it was right beside the center here, so I could just walk to work. I didn't have to go very far because I don't have a driver's license. The state of Kentucky probably ain't never gonna let me drive again. I got 9 DUIs. I think about 9 DUIs. Driving on suspendeds and this and that. But KFC took a chance with me, and I didn't miss work. I didn't miss a day's work. The almost year I worked there, and that's amazing for me to say, because before I'd get up in the morning, I wouldn't feel great because I didn't have no dope, and I'd just call work, make up some crazy lie, and not go, and go do something inappropriate to make money to try to get high. Man, that changed once I started working a program, and I started saying to myself, whether I feel like going to work or not, it's the next right thing to do, so that's what I'm going to do. So many people have put their hands out to help me. I couldn't turn my back on them. And that's what I would feel like I was doing if I just missed a day's work. So I didn't. I never called it with no excuses. I just went to work. And who would have thought that just going to work would work out so many problems in my life? That I could draw a paycheck and that I could pay my bills. I haven't been late paying a bill since I got out of this program, since I got out of Genesis. I got an apartment right on Main Street, downtown Grayson. And now I hold meetings down here in downtown Grayson. There's an AA meeting, the Grayson Serenity Group. I co-chair the meeting with a guy that's got 33 years of sobriety. And it's one of the meetings that the guys from Genesis trudge to a couple times a week. And I get to show these guys, look what I'm doing. I'm working, I'm paying my bills, and I'm still allowed to go to these meetings. Now, KFC, after I was there for about 2 or 3 months, I let them know how important it was for me to be able to go to meetings. And they said, whatever nights you need to be in your meetings, you let us know, and we'll work around that with you. We'll help you because you've showed up for work every time we've wanted you here. We'll start helping you out. So I waited a few months and I asked them for that, and they didn't care a bit. So they started letting me off on Mondays and Friday nights so I could go to meetings. Because without the meetings and without my sobriety, I don't have a job. Without the things I need to support me through my sobriety, my family's gone. My kid's gone. That paycheck I was talking about's gone. If I'm not sober, I don't have anything. And I know that. So my sobriety has become the most important thing in my life. And it's only through working at KFC. I put in applications places. I didn't think I could do that. I didn't think I'd ever be employable anywhere. I got my peer support license. And when I went to my bosses at KFC and said, hey, I want to get my peer support, but I have to be off work for a week so I can go to these classes, a couple of weekends and whatnot, they worked with me. Thank God they worked with me, because if they wouldn't have worked with me, it'd have been real hard for me to accomplish the things I've accomplished. So they helped me get my peer support license. And that really empowered me a lot as well, to be able to give back to people and to be able to help and to become more employable. I put my application in at Pathways, and I was about a year and a half sober, and I put in an application for here at Genesis, and there was a couple better applicants or whatever, but I still had my job at KFC. So it wasn't that important that I didn't get that position. I just stuck it out and kept putting my application in places. And Pathways came back to me just a few months ago and said, hey, we've got a job at the crisis unit here in Ashland. And it's because I never missed work at KFC. It's because I work a program that makes me be honest. And it's because I've built up a fellowship around me of friends that love me and people that I can actually show how I can have a relationship with. So work has empowered me to be a better father. First Day Forward is giving me the shirt and the pants I have on right now and the boots. I got from First Day Forward. They've helped me along the way so much. And when they asked me to do this, whenever they came to me and said, "Hey, can you speak?" How could I ever tell them no? This place has done so much for me and given me what I need inside and outside to be employable, to carry a position, and to help people. My name is Joe, and I'm an alcoholic, and I'm a drug addict, and I'm not ashamed of that today. That's all I got.
Joe, I think you can see on the screens. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us. The individual who hired Joe, his name is Samuel Trevor Fugit at KFC. He was supposed to be with us today, but he is unable to be with us. But he has provided a statement that I'm going to share. And I think it's very important that you hear exactly what he wanted us to share, because it goes along just with what Joe was talking about. Trevor has served as manager at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Grayson for around 15 months. He's originally from Powell County, but has made Grayson his home along with his wife and 2 children, ages 2 and 10. Since beginning at KFC, Trevor has hired close to 10 individuals in recovery. He works closely with individuals from the local recovery programs, Genesis and Ramey East Step. He's also hired people from drug court. 3 individuals are currently still employed with KFC. Several have advanced their careers, and a couple had to leave the area after completing their treatment program due to the lack of affordable and/or transitional housing opportunities. Trevor feels like it's important to hire people in recovery because everybody deserves a second chance, and sometimes a third and a fourth. Everyone's walk is different. Their goal is to be better, a better form of their previous self. You will find that when individuals get their first job after beginning their recovery journey, they are the hardest workers you will hire. They just want a chance to show that change is real and want to prove that they are a hard worker. When Trevor's looking to hire someone in recovery, the first question he asks is what program they are working. If the answer is none, then they will probably not get hired. He also makes a point of working schedules around so that individuals in recovery have the opportunity to attend meetings and other support groups as needed. And you heard that from Joe himself. In 15 months, Trevor's never had an issue with theft. And this is often an excuse of why businesses don't hire individuals in recovery. They're afraid to take a chance on something being stolen. Working with people in recovery brings good energy and a lot of laughter to the workplace. They have a new life and rejoice at getting to share the love and laughter. They have good fellowship, which helps them stay connected while working, and they also support one another outside of work. He says, please consider hiring someone in recovery because you may realize that you personally need the love and laughter in your life as well. And those were his words that he wanted us to share. And I think it's just a great reflection of just compliments of what Joe just presented. And you can see that in reflection of his experience while working at KFC, and that prepared him for his next step at Pathways. So I want to thank Joe, and I want to thank his manager as well at KFC. Next, I would like to introduce my friend and my colleague, Kayla Harrison, Director of Talent Management at UK St. Clair, as she talks about our journey in second chance employment. Kayla?
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you again, Joe, for sharing with us. So for those of you who are not familiar with St. Clair, we first opened our doors July 1st, 1963 as a small rural hospital sponsored by the Sisters of Notre Dame. We have now transformed into the largest rural hospital in Eastern Kentucky. We have 7 primary care locations within 5 counties, a multi-specialty medical pavilion, 2 urgent cares, a pediatric clinic, retail pharmacy, counseling center, medical equipment and supply store, and a sleep lab. In addition, we also provide home health and hospice services to 8 different counties. But today we're talking about a transformative topic, the value of hiring people in recovery. So first, it's essential to acknowledge the journey of people in recovery. Individuals in recovery have shown remarkable courage in facing their past. They've committed to making positive changes in their lives, and they often overcome significant obstacles. These journeys foster a unique set of skills that are incredibly valuable to any workforce. They have navigated through difficult times and they emerged much stronger. So not only do we feel like we're making a difference in these employees' lives, but we're helping break the stigma around addiction and recovery in the community. This benefits the individuals directly involved, but it also promotes a culture of understanding and acceptance in society at large. When we support employees in their recovery, we send a powerful message that everyone deserves a second chance. So first, it's essential to acknowledge, next slide. Maintaining stable employment is a means of sustaining recovery. Their commitment to recovery often translates into reliable, dedicated employees who not only show up to work, but they show up with a strong work ethic and desire to contribute meaningfully to their teams. Many of these individuals are eager to give back, often engaging in volunteer work or mentoring others who are struggling. When businesses employ people in recovery, we're investigating in the community and helping change lives. It's a cycle of giving back and uplifting others, and it benefits everybody involved. So second chance hiring possesses some unique challenges that must be addressed to create a successful program. So I'm going to share about our 5 barriers that we ran into when we first launched our program. So first of all, the background check policy. So now, as long as an individual discloses charges and has proven to be actively enrolled and engaged in or completed a recovery program, they're eligible for employment in almost every department here at UK St. Clair. Now, there are some barriers to positions in home health and hospice because they have different rules under the OIG and under Title 906. I'm not going to pull it up, but that's what it is here on the screen. If there are certain offenses, such as charges of abuse, then they would not be eligible to work in areas that go into homes. Next are scheduling conflicts. When we committed to hiring individuals in recovery, we committed to fully support the recovery, which includes being accommodating to their schedules. We want to ensure that they're able to participate in mandatory groups or appointments or anything that will help them be successful. So this initially turned into some HR complaints of favoritism claims for being accommodating, but we're employers. We want to be accommodating to any employee that needs it. But we are a 24/7 operation, so that can be challenging. Now, the healthcare stigma. Being around medication, needles, different items that may be potentially triggering to employees in recovery. It took several testimonies, meetings, and leadership talks with our recovery partners to ease a few of our hiring managers' minds to give employees an opportunity in these areas. I think that is one of our biggest wins that we have come from when we first launched this in 2023. Now, relapse. Relapse is a part of recovery. That's something we've always heard, but we weren't initially prepared for. I am excited to say we have rehired 2 employees who have left on their own terms due to relapse, and they are now performing exceptionally well. And then last but not least, the drug screening policy. So our policy now supports employees who voluntarily seek assistance for drug or alcohol problems before becoming subject to discipline or separation. And I think that is huge, that if you're willing to get help, we're willing to help you in recovery. So what was our solution to these barriers? So we are continually making changes. I do not want you to think that we do this perfect, because we do not. But to address the 5 barriers that I just mentioned, this was our idea. If we hire employees in a temporary status, they'll have the opportunity to explore a few different areas before committing to one area full-time. Maybe one area is triggering to them, but another isn't. Maybe they've been out of the workforce for a while and they weren't expecting the demand of certain jobs. This helps ensure the right fit for the managers and the employees. Also, in a temporary status, the managers are completely free and able to be as flexible as they need to be with scheduling, as it comes to any mandatory requirements, groups, AA, NA, etc. Then once you commit to a full-time status, elect in our benefits, and you start accruing time off, then your manager works with you to ensure a fair schedule. So we first launched our program in 2023. Since then, we have had 65 new hires, and this just breaks down by year. And I want to share a few wins. So we have had 10 of these employees have transferred. So 2 have gone from a temporary status to full-time status. And the temporary thing is new, so I don't want you to think everyone is still in a temporary status. We only have 5 in a temporary status right now. 6 have moved to a new department. and 2 have been promoted in their current department. So one of those is in a lead role now, and then one of those is in a counseling type role now. And then we have a 55% retention rate, which does not necessarily sound great. However, I want to highlight that 13 of these individuals left for a new position. So obviously, I wish they would have stayed here at St. Clair and we found something for them, but they're still enhancing their career. So I don't count those against us. So in their own words, you have heard from Joe and you're about to hear another fabulous testimony. But I do want to take the opportunity to share quotes from 4 of our employees that has really helped put this program in perspective for me. So first, there's Johnny. He says, the department that I work in, everyone knows my story and they accept me for who I am today. They show continual and non-biased support. The stigma should never be that it's just about the drugs because a lot of trauma has led people to use as well. When we hire second chance candidates, we give them hope to become a productive member of society again. And when they share this with other addicts, this gives them hope and something to look forward to, in which in turn will help them stay clean. Chastity says, St. Clair took a chance on me, and I'm forever grateful that they did not just look at my background and say, never mind. Addicts are more than the rap sheet, and I feel St. Clair does a great job at seeing beyond that. I don't have to hide my journey here, which is a blessing. My story is my weapon against the stigma and for the still struggling addict. I get to be a participating part of society today because someone here took a chance on me, the person, and they didn't just see the addict. Rachel says UK St. Clair views employment as an opportunity for a career, not just a job. Although we are considered second chance employees, we have never been referred to as such. It's crucial to break the stigma because people do recover and transform old behaviors into something beautiful. Working at UK St. Clair, I have never felt less than by other employees. I've always been welcomed with open arms. Today, I am teachable and employable, and I am incredibly grateful that UK St. Clair gave me the chance I always had prayed for. And last but not least, Brian. People that have truly lost everything have been given another opportunity. Look at it this way to start a career, not just another job. UK St. Clair is doing well at providing a safe and supportive atmosphere, as well as the opportunity to further my education and advance my career. Over time, relationships that are made on an individual level softens the heart of those who look at us differently. I am a second chance employee, but I've never been referred to as such by my supervisors or coworkers, and I think that's a good thing for me. So second chance hiring doesn't just stop at the hire. So as employers committed to successful and sustaining recovery, what is our role now? So one thing that we have implemented is an educational funding program. We've always had an educational funding program, but initially you had to be employed for an entire year before being eligible for funding. However, now it starts on day 1. 12 of our 65 participants are enrolled or have completed an educational funding program. And of the 12, 5 have completed a certified medical assistant cohort. And I just want to point that out because talk about breaking the stigma around hiring people in recovery in healthcare. It's up to the employees if they choose to disclose whether they're in recovery or not, but we are actively working on a support group for those who may be interested. We also have 2 committees, one for our entire recovery partnership program and one specific to the second chance hiring program. So we use these groups to discuss challenges and wins and make sure that we're always doing what's best for our employees. So when we first launched this initiative, we did it consecutively with our peer support program. Many of our employees, including Talbot, who I'm so excited to introduce, had the opportunity to join UK St. Clair in that capacity before coming on board as an employee. Talbot has been a discharge navigator for us for 1.5 years now, and he has some exciting professional goals in progress that I'm sure he's about to share with you. I won't steal his thunder though, so without further ado, please welcome James Talbot Nickel.
Hello, everybody. My name is Talbot. Thank you for having me, Melissa. Kayla, thank you for the introduction. And Joe, thank you for sharing, man. A little bit about myself. I first started using back when I was probably around 11 or 12 years old during the whole opiate epidemic back in the 2000s. And by the time I was a teenager, man, I was totally dependent and had already started to enter the withdrawal stage whenever I didn't have anything. By the time I was 14, I had managed to already get myself locked up. I got caught for possession of a controlled substance while also being intoxicated, and then I got caught with another bag of weed at school. I was expelled at about that time from school. So I had these dreams of going on to like play college basketball or at least try to get into school somehow on an athletic scholarship. And that was just completely toast, man. That was done. Um, I ended up doing this whole youth treatment program at a facility in Lexington, where I was first introduced to a certain 12-step program. So that's whenever I was really introduced to recovery and the whole deal, man. I got sent there after I had attempted suicide in a juvenile detention center where I had repeatedly bashed my head off the wall. Until somebody came to speak to me. And they put me in a van like 3 hours later and took me to the Ridge. And I was like, all right, cool. I was out of jail, and that was good enough for me at the time. Um, I realized immediately that I had to um, that I had to do something because I wasn't in school. So I figured I had to work. So I joined the Carpenters Union. Somewhere around 18, I think that there was a time there where I initially lied to the union and made them wait on my birth certificate and social security card and all that stuff until I turned 18. That way I could get a job, and they didn't seem to care because nobody else was working. So they just went ahead and worked me and paid me, and it was a pretty good deal. Um, and I was homeless from the time that I was 16 to about 28. So that says a lot about my work ethic and my spending habits, as well as me attempting to pay for my habit through selling drugs, which I was also convicted for and spent some time in prison over. Um, let's see. During the time that I was in prison I did a little over 5 years in one consecutive stay. I lost my grandmother, my mom, my wife, and a lot of ego as well, which I'm still pretty full of myself today, but it was way worse then. It was very humbling, man. 2017, I was granted parole, and I had absolutely nowhere to go. And there's this whole like initiative right now to like catch people that are on the backside of treatment or getting out of prison that don't really know what to do. That hopefully we're going to be able to do something about soon, man, and be able to help these folks, because that's really like where my heart lays at. Is like I just remember like not having anywhere to go, and no one had any faith in me whatsoever. I mean, why would they? I had never showed them anything but a darker side of me, man. And I hope to be able to help people do that, man. Just catch them getting out. There was a guy named Roy Stennett. He ran Lexington Tree Service in Lexington, of course, and the guy took a chance, but it was really one of them things. Like I wouldn't say he was a second chance employer. He just had to like get employees like where he could get employees at, because it was really hard work, and not a lot of people wanted to do that. I was very thankful. It was right beside the halfway house that I was living in. I went to work there. He started me out in this little wood lot, and man, I pitched wood and I stacked wood, and like I kept building this thing up. And I worked with this little guy named Pedro, and Pedro was an extreme alcoholic. And I did really well, man, for a while. And eventually I would take a sip here and a sip there. And well, me and Pedro had been in trouble. He got a DUI or whatever. So they put him in the wood pile, and that's where they start everybody at. So he'd started over, and uh, me and Pedro got on the same crew together. I ended up getting a truck. I was his foreman. We also drank and did other things together, man. And it was he was an older guy, so he was really funny. He was a really good dude. And I was drinking here and there. I ended up saving up, getting me an apartment. It was the first real attempt that I had ever made at trying to do right. And like I said, I made it for a week or two before I started sipping around, but that was still the best I had ever done. It was all I had, you know. And I ended up losing that job. I violated my parole. Um, I went back, and they let me out on an ankle monitor, and I walked that down. I got a job driving a rock truck up in like Belfry, West Virginia. I was driving 2 hours each way every day and working like 15, 16 hours. with the ankle monitor on, which was really cool. They used to call me and tell me that they didn't know where I was at because the monitor quit working. So I was like, oh, okay, well, if it's not working, then whatever. My pro officer was really lenient, so he gave me just enough rope to hang myself. So I started to use. I got a really good job doing telecommunication work, and I was making good money, and I was up awake for weeks at a time. And I eventually just spun that out. And once that started happening, man, once I spun out with that, I was of course homeless again because I had managed to lose everything again, and I was in a severely toxic relationship and had all this untreated mental health and stuff going on. So it was just like fuel. It was just like catalyst for, me to mess everything up. And um, I started running around with these hippies, man, and smoking a lot of pot and eating a lot of psychedelics, and um, and it was a really cool time in life. But once again, I was still using. I had absolutely no intention on getting clean. I was just kind of just following music like wherever it would go, you know. Uh, and It was during COVID, I think, in 2020 that I had accumulated several felonies along the way the time that I had from the time that I had served my sentence out and walked it down. And um, I was incarcerated again for another 2 years until they finally gave me drug court, and um, that was the changing point, because anytime, and I didn't want to be clean. Like, I did not want to be clean the entire time. I just knew that I convinced myself that if I didn't use, that I didn't have to go back to jail. That was absolutely good enough for me, considering I had spent um, a lot of time. And I completed drug court. And man, I went into drug court. I used within the first like 2 weeks that I was there. They violated me. I did a sanction. I used again. I did a sanction, and I was on my last leg, and I knew it. So I had been using, and I went and checked myself into a local rehab. I had never had any treatment. They'd sent me to prison. I had never had an opportunity to do anything. Um, I did SAP and stuff while I was incarcerated, but that was just kind of what that was. And I don't know if y'all were paying attention or not, but whenever Joe first started, he said that he had went to whenever he first started to share, he said that he went to treatment at Genesis, and some guys from jail showed up and they had drugs. You know what I mean? Just like wrap your mind around that just for like 3 seconds. Like, these guys came from jail and got Joe high, who is not in jail. I think that kind of sums up, man, like what we're up against as addicts, as well as, professionals in a society, man. Like, that's crazy, you know. Um, anyways, so completed drug court. Um, I started to work. I started to work a 12-step program that really changed my life, man. I was introduced to some wonderful people. I started to work in treatment. I got my peer support. I went back to school immediately. I obsessed over all the appropriate things that someone should probably obsess about in a healthy manner. I don't even know if it was healthy, but it worked, and for that, man, I'm thankful. So, I like I said, it was simple. If I didn't use, I didn't lose. If I didn't use, I didn't go to jail. 4 years later, man, two very handsome sons and one amazing and very beautiful wife. I was 100% correct. If I, if I used drugs, if I didn't use drugs, I'd have to go to jail. Uh, let's see. So I've been in recovery for like 20 years. The term recovery is kind of broad, man. It's different depending on what program you follow or what profession you're in. Um, I first heard about the Second Chance program through the peer support outreach that I was working for the treatment center here in town, and it was awesome, man. Like, we would get to come in and just see people when they're at their most like vulnerable, and it was really eye-opening. It was a lot like early on, like when people were trying to detox, but these people haven't even made that decision yet. So it was like, like they're fresh off of an overdose, and the laws, they think the law's coming because that's the first thing that you think if anybody's ever overdosed on this chat, like the law's on their way. You know what I mean? Like if I'm at the hospital, I'm going to jail and I need to get out of here. So it was really important, man, for us to get in front of those folks and tell them, hey, man, like nothing's happening. Like here's your options. It's basically use or die. If you use, you die. If not, you can get some help or whatever. Whenever I applied for this, man, I was so intimidated. I never thought that I would get a position working in healthcare. Um, especially whenever I sat down with Lisa Ray, and I had these 4 different envelopes that were, that my background arrived in due to like postage, like weight restrictions. So I just don't know, man. I just doubted myself the whole time, and but I showed up, man. Um, went on through with it, and I had so much fear um behind all that it was just that it would like make me sick to my stomach. I don't know if I ever showed it or not, but like I was just like dying inside. Um, so I met with Lisa Ray for the position, and then Kayla had sent me an email message about accepting my salary and benefits package. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like nobody had ever offered me a salary with benefits. And I was just like, absolutely. I didn't even read it. Like there could have been anything in there. And I would just been like, yep. All right, cool. Um, she told me to review it. I didn't. Like many people, man, in recovery, I struggled with we'll set ourselves apart. Like I will set myself apart from what I consider normal folks. Like I will find something that sets me apart. Well, they don't. My face is funny, or I'm fat, or just like all these things. I have nothing to bring to the table here. I'm a criminal. I'm a felon. Like I will set myself apart and try to make myself unique in some way to where I don't have to face you, or I don't have to do this, and I'll run from that, man. And I'm just so glad, dude, that I didn't have to do that. Like, it's just like I've been shown nothing but just like fairness, man, kindness. Mr. Lloyd has been nothing but wonderful. Lisa, Jessica Callahan, Melissa, and Kayla. Everybody's welcomed me, man, with open arms. The nurses, the providers. It's all been really smooth. Not one time have I been uncomfortable or been made uncomfortable, and I can share and I can be myself honestly and openly. And that's the most beautiful thing, like about working here, man, is like you can be you. And somebody put in the chat a minute ago, like if you want to have a fun workplace environment, like hire people in recovery, and that's very true, man, because it's just a good time most of the time. We're pretty thick skinned, and it's just we're going to jab at you, and I hope you jab back too. But man, like uh, so just like Melissa said, I work as a discharge navigator here, which basically means that I'm kind of one of the last faces that people will see. Hopefully, I can get to them before they leave. And I make sure that they got all their appointments made, that they have all their medical equipment, just for a smooth and easy transition to discharge to home or wherever that may be. This job kind of gave me more than a paycheck, man. It gave me a lot of confidence, a lot of structure, a sense of belonging. Um, it was I gotta say this too. Sister Janet ran into me the other day in the elevator, and she was like, Talbot, she was like, I had no idea that you were a second chance employee. She was like, you conduct yourself in a professional manner. And me and her work like just 2 or 3 times a week. I see her and we have these conversations. And she said, I had no idea. And she patted me on the shoulder and like, man, like that meant the world to me. You know what I mean? Like a nun told me that she had no idea that I was a second chance employee. That's just too cool. That's good stuff. And so I want to end with like I tried to come up with like something just that just like sounded good instead of just like being off the whim. Um, so people who call themselves addicts are some of the best people I feel like that you'll ever meet, man. Um, when you take a chance on someone in recovery, you're giving them hope, you're empowering them to change their lives and often the lives of others. You're feeding their families, you're giving them access to health care, and you're providing a stable environment where they can thrive. You're actually you're giving them life, like you're pumping oxygen into these folks, man. And I promise you that we are damn grateful for the opportunity. Um, my goals are pretty simple with all this: stay clean, stay sober, be there for my family, and continue growing professionally and personally as well. Thanks to UK St. Clair, I now have the opportunity to pursue a master's in social work or even attend DPT school to become a doctor of physical therapy. Man, like I got options today. I would have never, ever told you that I would walk in the emergency room, yet like walk through it and help people who have whatever kind of social issue going on, man. And it's just too cool. Like sometimes I have to pinch myself. I'm here today, man, not as someone in recovery, but as a professional, a parent of two very handsome young men, a mentor, a husband, a son, and a proud employee of UK St. Clair. I'm living proof that when you give someone a second chance, you're not just changing one life, you're creating a ripple effect that touches families, communities, and lots of futures, man. To every employer out there, thank you for believing in people like me. And to anyone walking the path of recovery, keep going. You are worth the chance. Hiring someone in recovery isn't a risk; it's an investment in resilience, loyalty, and you get to see their transformation, which is one of the most beautiful things, man. And I think everybody that works a program that's on this chat sees that all the time, and that's kind of the whole hit. Um, Man, I get help from others. I support my family. I help others. And I get to build a future I once thought was out of reach. And it's all because someone, or at least a few people, believed in me. And, just imagine like what could happen if everyone did that. Once again, man, thank you all. Joe, thank you for sharing. It's awesome. That's all I got.
Thank you so much, Talbot.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
need you to send me that. Maybe we'll put it on a billboard.
Hey, I'm not going to.
Yeah, but I think you definitely summarized that very well. So in closing for me, I just want to point out, and Brittany put this in the chat as well, the first Why Hire People in Recovery kicked off in 2022. That featured Brittany and Alex Ellswick. So most of you have probably heard them speak, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. So anyways, a handful of us attended from St. Clair, and that included our president and CEO, Mr. Lloyd. So that instantly launched our Second Chance program. He said, I need you to get Brittany in here. She needs to talk to our leaders. Let's go. And we're like, okay, let's do it. So I can only hope that getting on this call and listening to our experiences and others gives you ideas to bring a similar program to life in your own organization. So in closing, I urge you to consider the value that individuals in recovery bring to the workplace. By choosing to hire people in recovery, we're not just filling positions. We're investing in resilience, diversity, and the potential for positive change within both the organization and our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Talbot. Thank you, Joe. I think for everybody, I think we can virtually, or however you want to use your emojis. We appreciate you all sharing your personal experiences and the organizational experience as well. I do want to. All right, Matthew, I'm going to go to the chat. Is there any questions in the chat we need to address?
So I believe there's only one question. Lots of great comments, though. Jamie Whaley asked, will there be a certificate of participation offered? Yeah, I can make those and send them to everyone. Yeah, we can do that.
And so we will open up for question and answers. You can put them in the chat or you can come off mute. Does anybody have any questions for Kayla, for Talbot, for Joe? We have 11 minutes. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time, but I want to give everybody a chance to ask questions or to comment. I will say this, as Kayla has alluded to, on behalf of UK St. Clair, we're just beginning our journey. Like it literally started with like we said, a Why Hire People in Recovery with Brittany and Alex in 2022. Mr. Lloyd, our CEO, listened in, and it was just like wildfire after that. And things happened, and we're still on our journey. We're still on our journey. We don't have things figured out. We're still figuring things out as we go, but we're on this journey. And I just want to encourage other businesses to consider taking the journey as well.
We do have one more question now. Kara asks, can I get the contact information for these programs?
Kara, specifically, what programs you want for First Day Forward? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, I'm actually a community health worker with Primary Plus. We're healthcare. And we have patients, you know, in recovery, and I just needed resources, information in case I need it. Plus, I also have a brother that's currently in rehab at Faithful Recovery in Moorhead. And using that information for him also. He's been there, he's 76 days clean right now.
Absolutely.
So if there's anything that I can use as resources, I would appreciate that.
I believe Brittany put her information. Actually, Brittany Harrington, who is on the call, Pathways and UK St. Clair partner together, but Brittany, she is that First Day Forward contact, as well as Jackie Willis. So
All
there,
right, thank you. I appreciate that.
yes.
Here,
Melissa?
shoot me an email. We'll get you and your brother supported and connected with the people there in Round County.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm proud of you guys, Joe, Talbot. Thank you
you.
for doing the thing and sharing about it.
Thank
So thankful, for real.
I just want to point something out, and Talbot touched on it. Anytime you help a drug addict or an alcoholic or any person that's in recovery, if you look past them, it's not just me you're helping, it's my kid that's asleep on my couch right now. It's my wife, it's my mother, who I was a whirlwind in and out of her life. Now I can be a son, I can be a father, and I can be a friend, and it's my serenity. And I thank everybody that hires anybody in recovery. Thanks, guys.
And we're funny. We're a good time.
We're definitely that.
We are not a glum lot.
Never a day. No one can ever say that.
Thank you, Jackie Willis.
All right. Any other questions or comments? I do want to leave it open.
Thank you
Right.
all.
I will say this will not be the last time you will see out there a Why Hire People in Recovery forum. We will have one, several more in the next coming months. So be on the lookout. It might be changed up here and there, but we are going to continue to promote this. We believe it's important. We believe we need to get our community engaged in this conversation. So just be on the lookout as we put it out on social media. Yes, Brittany.
Melissa, what about, with permission and a little bit of editing for the privacy of Joe, I mean, a letter to the editor, just why hire people in recovery from that guy. That was beautifully written. I would love to see that published in our local papers. I mean, I think, and the topics for a letter to the editor are just really broad, and that would make a good one.
I think it would be from his manager.
Yeah.
Carla, I believe Carla, and because Carla has a good contact with him, so I believe we can follow up on that.
Yeah, Carla, I know you can, well, she just left, but we're texting right now. We'll definitely talk about that internally because that would be great.
Would be, yes.
I also just made the connection to how this stuff comes full circle a lot of times, Joe. I am very familiar with your manager. Let me just say that without making it a violation of any sort, you know. So that's pretty cool. It really just hit me, Melissa, that I know exactly who that is. So I just seen his picture. I was like, oh, cool. So it's just full circle, man. It's the gift, you know.
Small world.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And I see here, Jamie, was there something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add real quick. First of all, I wanted just to thank everybody on here today. First the ones that spoke, and your willingness to be vulnerable and share your stories, and everybody that works in this space that tries to improve everybody's other people's situation. So what I wanted to say, I appreciate the reminder about having fun. Brittany said that we do have fun. That's something that's been for me because I bartended 25 years, and when I was drinking, I was just it helped me to loosen up a little bit and laugh and have a good time. And a lot of the work that we do, I oversee our harm reduction services here at a local health department. So a lot of the work that I do here and beyond in the community is very serious and can be life or death. So I have to remind myself that I have to continue to have fun. I can't always be uptight because it's not healthy for me. It's uncomfortable for folks around me. If you're always serious and you're so I try to remind myself to loosen up. And I'll have to say, there's a lot of gifts of being sober and in recovery. But for me, the ability to experience healthy emotion, when I laugh, I really enjoy it. When I cry, I mean it. I'm not crying in my beer, it's not fueled by emotions. And it really is a good feeling for me to be able to laugh, to be able to cry, and to let things out because so often I stuff things, and that's why I wanted to drink. I wanted to feel better. I didn't want to feel certain things. So I just want to say thank you for the reminder. I need to hear that all the time that loosen up, have some fun, because it's helpful for me and also the people around me. So thank you all.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much, Jamie. All right. Well, thank you all very much for attending today's session. We went on a limb and planned this, and I just want to thank. I think it went very well, and I know it came from everybody's heart. And I do believe that we can positively influence the workforce development in our community, as well as positively influence and lessen stigma surrounding recovery and employing those in recovery. And this is just, again, a good conversation starter to begin to break those walls down. So look for more opportunities to join this conversation through UK St. Clair and AHEC. We will be advertising future opportunities in the next coming months. Thank you all very much. If you all need anything, please reach out to myself or Kayla or Talbot or Matthew at UK St. Clair or Brittany or any of the First Day Forward team.